Hey, 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 hey. It's Breakfast with Bob.
Poncho Man! Thanks everybody for being here. This is day one, Breakfast with Bob, our 10th anniversary being here at beautiful Huggo on the Rocks. We are brought to you by HOKA, by Polar, by UCAN, Velofix, Normatec, Active, Canyon, Form Goggles, Amp Human, and we'll be doing our championship edition at Four Seasons Resort Hualalai, where our next guest has been for the last 2 years with her family because she finished on the podium, finished second here the last 2 years, and this year is going to be her year. Give it up for Lucy Charles. How you doing, Lucy?
Yeah, really good. It's so good to be back and talking to you again. And yeah, we definitely want to get back to the Four Seasons.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And usually there's a learning curve. People come over here and they hope to get in the top 10. First time you're here, you're leading and the helicopter's overhead. And did you surprise yourself, the fact that you led for as long as you did year one?
Yeah, definitely that first year is still my favourite year because it was so unexpected. And I came into the race with no pressure and just, went as hard as I could and hung on and managed to get that second place. So, yeah, it's still my favourite year of all.
And this year you also had I'd call it one of the biggest wins that someone can have. You win Challenge Roth. The year before, you lost by 9 seconds, right? And if you've not been to Challenge Roth, you finished in a little stadium. So I'm imagining that you were in the stadium 9 seconds back with 10,000 people going crazy, knowing that I'm going to get second place. But then to come back and win this year, how special was that?
Yeah, it's pretty special. I mean, anyone who knows me knows I don't like coming second, so that was pretty tough, but it kind of put a big fire in my belly and I wanted to go back and rectify it, I guess. I hadn't had the race that I wanted and I loved it, but I knew that there was a lot more that Roth had to offer, and actually if I was able to win the race, then it would be so special.
Yeah, and not only did you win, but 2:59 marathon, right? Fastest run of the day. And I've watched your progression. A lot of times people get into the sport with a swim background, they have a tendency to hurt themselves because they got such a big motor that they can run, but their body's not used to running. You have done such a great job of, one, not getting injured running, but also a progression where now you're sub 3 hours. You started, 3:10, 3:8, 3:5, and now sub 3. What have you guys done to not do too much too soon?
Yeah, I think we learnt the lesson pretty early on that actually the way we used to train for swimming, which is more is better, does not apply to running and you will just break yourself. So I had a few injuries very early on and then we took a step back and we said we're going to need to be patient with this, which is not something I'm always good at. And yeah, we just chipped away and we've gradually built more and more distance and it seems to have worked. I've kept robust, I've kept strong, and I probably got Reese to thank for making sure I don't do too much.
What has been the biggest surprise for you? Because you were a world-class athlete before, 800-meter freestyle and open water swim, trying to make both those teams for London 2012. And again, those are world-class sports, but there's something about this sport that's just different. What is it about this sport that you like?
I think when I first came to this sport, it was just all about having fun and there was variety. I was used to just swimming up and down the black lane twice a day, every day, and that got pretty boring. And then when I actually figured out that I could go out on the bike and run with people and you can talk and you're not just in your own head and trying to cope with the boredom, it was just a whole new thing for me. And yeah, I love the variety of mixing it up. And if I don't feel like going swimming one day, it doesn't matter. I can go ride my bike or run. So yeah, it's a lot more fun.
So when you look at, you were last year with Daniela. I mean, you went as fast as anybody's ever gone. But though, by the way, Daniela is going 8:26, right? So when you have a race like that, you go home, you got second, which I know you're not happy with, but you had just this unbelievable day that any other day ever, you would have won this race.
Yeah, last year was crazy. I mean, all the times were crazy fast, and to go the second fastest time ever in the history of this race and still come second was kind of pretty tough to take, I guess, but I couldn't be disappointed. I knew I couldn't have given any more on that day, and to come away with second, but nothing really went wrong. I put down everything in the right way, and yeah, there's always small mistakes that you can correct, but there was nothing that was going to make me 8 minutes faster and get that top spot. So it was still motivating though, because I knew, you know what, I'm still young in this sport, and I'm going to go away and I'm going to work hard, and I'm going to make sure that next year I'm even stronger and I'm in with a shot of getting that top spot.
Well, yeah, 2016, Daniela goes 8:46, and then you go 8:36, and she goes 8:26. I mean, what the hell? So now, is that something, because you finished second to her twice at 70.3 Worlds, finished second to her twice here, is that something that you just think about, okay, what do I need to do to beat Daniela?
Yeah, I mean, it's great to have her there. She's always out in front, and she's motivating me to train hard every day and get better. But I know that there's still a lot more in me, and I'm nowhere near the best that I can do. So we just continue to work, and we see that progression every single day. And I still know, even on the swim, that I'm nowhere near what I could swim when I was a swimmer. So if I can keep working the bike and run to that standard, and then maybe even bring my swim back up to where it used to be.
Probably one of the most unique things when we were at Nice, because you're usually way off the front, you getting a drafting call is something that doesn't happen very often. You still ended up finishing fifth. Nobody likes to get a drafting call, especially on a mountainous course. I think it's really hard to make a call like that. How did you handle that?
Yeah, it was pretty tough. It wasn't what I planned for, definitely. And I guess I knew I needed to have a hard training day. I'd had an easy week leading into that race with Kona in the back of my mind. And I knew actually if I pulled the pin there, then I wouldn't be doing what I do. I love to race, and we love to race as athletes. That's what we train for. So you don't just pull out when something goes wrong. You have to think, you know what, okay, it's a little setback, but let's see what happens. And actually, I kind of got into that penalty 10, got my head in the game, and just thought, take on some more fuel. Now we've got the fun bit, we get to go down the mountain. And when I got back into T2, I was nowhere near as far back as I expected. So I like running. I've been enjoying my running recently, and I thought, you know what, let's just go, put in a solid run and see what happens. And actually, to come away with fifth, I was really happy with that after sitting still for 5 minutes.
Yeah, after that. So when you think back to the disappointment of not making it to 2012, really was triathlon more of a, hey, let's just do something different? It wasn't really, okay, I'm done with this sport, I'm going to go find another sport.
Yeah, I think at that point I was completely done with competitive sport altogether. It was just, you know what, let's have a new challenge. Let's forget about that and try and make sport fun again. And that's definitely what we've done, and we're continuing to do that even at the top level. When
did you feel that, oh my God, I could actually be good at this, and this is pretty darn fun?
Yeah, I had some good results sort of straight away from the off, and that was probably just from my swim though. It was giving me enough of an advantage, and then I'd get caught on the bike and then maybe catch one girl on the run and still have a pretty good result. And then I think it was after the first Ironman in 2016 when I finished second in my age group, and I was like, and I totally love that maybe I could have a career in this because I'm just enjoying it so much.
So for this, 2 years ago, you had Lauren Brandon with you out of the water. And that, I'm guessing that that's preferable than being totally by yourself. And I know Lauren, I think she had jellyfish and didn't have the race she wanted to have. Do you guys chat at all? Because you're sort of head and shoulders above the other women in terms of the swim.
Yeah, we don't really chat. I think we both just established that we're the strongest swimmers in the field, and actually if we end up out there together, that's in our favour and we can work together. We're kind of both elite level swimmers, so we know how to work together in the swim. And then Lauren's strong on the bike as well, so actually it would be in both of our favours to kind of be out in front and working together on that bike and getting as much gap as possible.
So 2 years ago, Daniela was 40K or so from the finish of the bike. And you had 5 minutes on her, and you still had 5 minutes. And so she had to take a risk at that point because she wanted to be leading off the bike. And so she did a 40K time trial, got off the bike first, but you put her in a position where she had to take a risk. Is that what you're looking to do? Is you got to put people in a position of, if she makes a mistake, then you can win.
Yeah, I'm very lucky with my swim background that I'm pretty much in the driving seat from the gun, and that is how I like to race. I like to be out front and putting the pressure on early. So, yeah, I think that suits me, but actually now that my bike and run is progressing, I have more confidence in those, and particularly in my run, I'm not too worried if I get caught on the bike because I believe in my run legs now, and they should be strong enough to get me a good finish.
That's sort of a nice position to be in, where all of a sudden you look at something as a detriment, and then you look at it as a weapon, where you feel, hey, I can run with pretty much anybody. When you're running sub 3 off the bike, you can run with anybody.
Yes, it is really nice, and it's something that I've always believed I've had, but again, I've had to be patient with it and gradually get to that point without breaking myself down. So I believe it will be a weapon, particularly in the future. I think I can still run a lot faster.
I love it. Lucy, it's always such a pleasure to see you, and hopefully we'll see you and the family on Sunday at the Four Seasons.
Thank you. I think they really want to come. So.
I think they want to come too. How about a huge round of applause for Lucy Charles as we finish up day 1 of Breakfast with Bob from the beautiful Huggos on the Rocks. Poncho Man, take us out.
Hey, 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 hey. It's Breakfast with Bob.